Hey everyone, I wanted to direct you to TopDeckTCG.com. This is a quick and easy to use website where you can purchase Transformers TCG singles as well as products from a variety of other games. When you order on Top Deck, you can use the code Legendary Void as you see on screen to get 10% off your entire order. Don't forget to go check them out. Thanks for watching and on to the video. Howdy, Legendary Void here, and today I have another fun deck tech for y'all today. Now this is a deck that it's been around since Wave 2, but obviously there's been a lot of changes to it since then, and I find it to be a hilarious and fun deck that I like playing. So yeah, we're going to talk about it here today. This is Nova Prime. This deck is called Nova Prime simply because it consists of Optimus Prime, Battlefield Legend, and Nova Star from Wave 2. Now, the whole gimmick of this deck is, everyone knows what Battlefield Legend does, but the whole gimmick of this deck is that you're going to swing with Nova Star on your first turn and flip Optimus, and then on your next turn, you're either going to flip Optimus to grab a Start Your Engines to untap Nova Star, or if you don't have one, you're going to swing with Optimus, pray you flip one, and untap Nova Star so that she can swing again. And then, you know, you're just doing Optimus things. But it's a very fun deck just because the amount that Nova Star untaps, plus there's two-pronged attacks, so Optimus can heal 2, Nova Star can heal 2 and draw 2. It's very versatile and it's a lot of fun, even if the health pool is extremely low at 27. There's a lot of fun things you can do with it. And yeah, let's go ahead and get into the battle cards. So starting with the actions, we do have 2 copies of Marksmanship, because we do have 2 ranged characters on the field, being Nova Star in bot mode and Optimus in bot mode. Being able to do 2 damage at an enemy in bot mode is very good, especially on an Optimus attack. It's a pretty nice card, even if body modes do exist. It's still a pretty useful card, plus you can always side it out if your opponent is running all Titan Masters. Next we have 2 copies of Espionage. Again, it's a nice card to... there's a lot of cards we're going to be trying to flip off Optimus in this deck. This is just another neat little thing you can do with it. But basically it's a little bit of hand disruption. If you know your opponent has a card in hand that you don't exactly like, you can just get rid of it with Espionage. Say, if they have a fusion board called black, boom, get rid of it. Very nice card, especially since it's green. But yeah. Next we have 3 copies of Start Your Engines, because like I said earlier, you want to untap Nova Star as much as you can. Since she is a card truck, you can do cool things with that, so pretty neat. But it is blue, obviously the deck is blue, so we're going to be trying to defend while also dealing as much damage as possible, because they do have pretty high base attacks. Optimus is 6 and 8 and Nova Star is 6 and 7, although you're likely never going to swing with Nova Star in bot mode unless you absolutely need to. Next we have 3 copies of Team Up Tactics. Like I said before, it's extremely good with the way Nova Star works, because you're repairing 2 and drawing 2 off of 1 card, and then if you really need to, you can heal 2 off Optimus. But it's a very good card, especially for this deck. And then again, you can play it off of Optimus's attack swing and do some pretty cool stuff. So very, very cool. Next we have 2 copies of Heavy Handed. Since we do have a 13 and a 12-star character, they're going to be able to use this to a lot of effect. Since most characters are going to be less stars than it, obviously Shockwave and the like are going to be above, but in most cases there's going to be characters beneath you. Next we have 3 copies of Brainstorm. Just from the sheer number of actions we're playing this deck, makes sense, especially if you flip it off an Optimus swing and want to play some actions from your hand. You can do that and just load up Optimus with Leap into Battles, which we also do have coming up. But we also have 2 Unending Hatreds, which is a card in Wave X. It's a black-blue. It says choose a faction. You get to do 1 damage to each character that is not from that faction. So since we have 2 Autobots, we can just declare it, and anything that's not 1 takes damage. So pretty cool there. I made it as a contrast to Precision Fire. It's a pretty cool card. I like playing it. Next we have 3 copies of Leap into Battle, which is a +3 attack action, which is pretty much a staple in most Battlefield Blue decks. Battlefield Legend Blue decks. So, because once he flips them on attack, if you play it, he has 11 base, which is incredibly powerful. Plus, you can get it off of his flip to play on Nova Star if you want. And again, they have really high base attacks, so your opponent's not going to fully defend it if they are playing blue decks more than likely. Next, we have 3 War of Attrition, which is a pretty cool card. It's a blue-green that does 1 damage to one of your opponent's characters, and you can play 3 in 1 turn. And if you do, you get to prepare 3 from one of your characters. Very cool, especially if you have 2 in hand, you flip 1 off Optimus, and then you get to play the others and heal 3. Plus, if you miss one because you can't swap for a green, you always flip Optimus and grab one. So, pretty neat card. It's more for the late game than anything, but it's very unique and it's very good. Next, moving on to the secret actions, we have 2 copies of End Hostilities, which is a staple in blue decks nowadays, just because you need to be able to negate any attacks that an orange deck might swing at you. Although Pierce is a thing, so it doesn't block the attack entirely, but it is a nice card. We are only running 2 because obviously there's the chance that you could play against a blue deck, and then this does nothing for you. Next, we have 2 copies of Sabotage Armaments, which just scraps all the attacker's weapons when one of your characters defends. Very nice card for getting rid of fusion boards, grenade launchers, anything like that when your opponent swings with them, especially if they know they're going to swing with the weapon, in which case, boom, set that down, and now their attack is neutered a lot. Next, we have 2 Into Enemy Territory, which is another Wave X card. Very, very strong card for blue decks. When one of your characters defends, the attacker gets +1 attack. You can't use Pierce, but the defender gets tough too. So basically negates Pierce but gives your opponent extra attack, and then the defender gets tough 2 to try and negate that +1 attack. But most of the time you're still going to take damage anyway, but it does reduce the risk of taking like Pierce 7. So you'll likely just take whatever the difference is between the attack and the defense values. So very nice card. It's very powerful in blue decks, and I'm very proud of this one. I like the art. It looks like it's got Thanos in the back, but whatever. Moving on to the weapons, we have 2 Anticipation Engine, which when this character attacks, you can reveal the top card of your deck. If it's an action, you can play it. And as you can see, we do have quite a few actions. So being able to do that on top of Optimus Prime's attack flip is very, very strong. Plus we need some white pips in the deck, so that definitely helps there. We also have an Ion Blaster of Optimus Prime. There's just one, because there's only one Optimus on the team. But it's a really good card. +2 attack, +1 defense on a weapon is very good. No one's going to deny that. Next we have 3 copies of Energon Axe, which is a +3 Pierce 2 weapon that you can only put on damaged characters. It's been a staple in blue decks since Wave 1. Very, very good card. Yeah, you want to be able to do at least some damage. Even if your opponent is running a blue deck, you do get that Pierce 2 through plus whatever blacks you flip, which there aren't too many in this deck just because of the sheer high attack value that these characters have. There is Unending Hatred, but that's not going to do you too much if it's one of the only ones in the deck. We actually don't have a single armor in this deck, which is pretty wild, but honestly, considering that Bashing Shield exists, is there really a point? Is there really a point? Let's be honest. But moving on to the utilities, we do have 2 copies of Energy Pack. You can only put on characters with 11 stars or more. We do have 2 characters with 11 stars or more, so boom, give them +4 health. Optimus goes up to 18, Nova Star goes up to 17, which is pretty good, It is an orange pip, so it does throw off the deck balance a little bit, but that's fine. It's a powerful card anyway, so we'll accept it. We also have 2 Turbo Boosters, which again throws off the deck color balance again since it's orange, but we want to be playing these on the Nova Star to untap her, and yeah, very strong card, very, very good. And the last utility that we have in the deck is a Pocket Processor, because if you can get this on a character early game and start drawing a lot of cards, your opponent's not going to be able to deal with it very well unless they're Shockwave, in which case you're kind of screwed anyway. But that's the main deck. Let's go ahead and look at the sideboard, which obviously we have Nemesis Prime to swap out for Nova Star just because double primes is an incredibly powerful deck, always has been since Wave 1, and even to this day still is. Again, it's still pretty low health pool with just 30, but double primes is arguably more competitive than the main deck, but Nemesis Prime is just a pretty good card overall. If you want to see our SRT tier list to see where we ranked him, link will be in the description below. But moving on to the sideboard battle cards, we do have 2 copies of Tripwire, and this is just because you want to be able to tap down Night Racers, Flame Wars, any patrol characters, and it is a blue pip, so it fits well in the deck. Plus it's just a deal 1 damage card, so it's pretty nice. It's pretty nice utility overall. Next we have 2 copies of The Bigger They Are. This is just in case you are going against a Shockwave or anything of the like, and you need to make sure that you have that Pierce. You can side this in exchange for the heavy-handeds or anything else to make sure that you're actually dealing damage. And again, you can grab it off of Optimus in multiple ways, so it's pretty good there. Next we have 2 Hold the Lines, in case you are going against those small white teams like Airstrike Patrol or the Military Patrol and other stuff like that. It is a white pip, so it gives us a little bit more flips. as well as green, so you can grab it or grab it off Optimus flips or attacks. Again, we're liking actions because Optimus is kind of a Chad when it comes to that. Next we have an end hostilities to round out our count to 3. Just in case we are going against that orange deck, we want to make sure that we're able to stand against them, so putting a third in hostilities just makes sense. Next we have the counter espionage in case we're going against a secret action heavy deck. I tend to usually have 1 or 2 of these in my sideboards because, you know, it's never a good feeling when your opponent just sab arms one of your weapons and you know it's there too. So you just want to call it out with this card. So pretty good, pretty unique. Next we have Spysat, which is a black green. Prevents your opponent from using Brave or Stealth. Again, it's really good against those patrol teams that you get against the leader really quickly, being Tailwind or Powertrain or anything like that. But usually to deal with those, but there are a few other situations where Stealth is annoying and you want to be able to negate it. Next we have Hollow Matter Projector, which is the only armor in the entire deck and sideboard. This is just in case your opponent has a lot of direct damage, say like Horrible, and you want to protect one of your characters from just being pinged to death. So you just put this on there and pray they don't bash it off, because half the time, not even half the time, like 90% of the time, it's just gone. It's gone as soon as you play it. So yeah, that's pretty much it. And that's the deck tech. Thank you all so much for watching. I do plan on continuing somewhat regularly in the future. I don't know what kind of content it's going to be. Hopefully more deck techs. If I can get a couple more games recorded and uploaded, that would be great. We're still working to keep the game alive and going even after the cancellation. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. As always, have a phenomenal day. Smash like, subscribe. Peace.
Back at it again at Krispy Kreme.